Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Mataji, I think you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can hear you, Mataji. You can continue.
Oh, okay. Just a second. Sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Shranavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayanta Stolya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, verses 14 and 15. Verse 14. Samprasanne Bhagavati Purusha Prakratair Gune Vimukto Jiva Nirmukto Brahma Nirvanam Rachati. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. One who actually satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead during one's lifetime becomes liberated from the gross and subtle material conditions. Thus, being freed from all material modes of nature, he achieves unlimited spiritual bliss. Purport. In the previous verse, it has been explained that one should treat all living entities with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. By such behavior, one satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And upon his satisfaction, the devotee immediately becomes free from all material conditions. The Lord also confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who sincerely and seriously engages in my service immediately becomes situated in the transcendental stage wherein he can enjoy unlimited spiritual bliss. Everyone in this material world is struggling hard in order to achieve blissful life. Unfortunately, people do not know how to achieve it. Atheists do not believe in God, and certainly they do not please Him. Here it is clearly said that upon pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one immediately attains to the spiritual platform and enjoys unlimited blissful life. To become free from material existence, To become free from material existence means to become free from the influence of material nature. The word samprasanne, which is used in this verse, means being satisfied. A person should act in such a way that the Lord is satisfied by the activity. It is not that he himself is to be satisfied. Of course, when the Lord is satisfied, the devotee automatically becomes satisfied. This is the secret of the process of Bhakti Yoga. Outside of Bhakti Yoga, everyone is trying to satisfy himself. No one is trying to satisfy the Lord. Karmis grossly try to satisfy their senses, but even those who are elevated to the platform of knowledge also try to satisfy themselves in a subtle form. Karmis try to satisfy themselves by sense gratification, and Gnanis try to satisfy themselves by subtle activities or mental speculation and thinking themselves to be God. Yogis also try to satisfy themselves by thinking that they can achieve different mystic perfections. But only devotees try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's process of self realization is completely different from the process of the karmis, jnanis, and yogis. Everyone else is trying to satisfy himself, whereas the devotee tries only to satisfy the Lord. The devotional process is completely different from the others. By working to please the Lord, by engaging his senses in the Lord's loving service, the devotee is immediately situated on the transcendental platform and he enjoys unlimited blissful life. Text 15. भूतै पञ्चाभिरारब्धैर्योषितपुरुष एव हि तयोर्व्यवायात् सम्भूतिर्योषितपुरुषयोरिह. Translation. The creation of the material world begins with the five elements, and thus everything, including the body of a man or a woman, is created of these elements. By the sexual life of man and woman, the number of men and women in this material world is further increased. Purport. When Swayambhuva Manu saw that, Dhruva Maharaj understood the philosophy of Vaishnavism and yet was still dissatisfied because of his brother's death. He gave him an explanation of how this material body is created by the five elements of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also confirmed Prakrate Kriya Manani. Everything is created, maintained, and annihilated by the material modes of nature. In the background, of course, there is the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya Dyakshena. In the 9th chapter, Krishna says, under my superintendence, material nature is acting. Swayambhuva Manu wanted to impress on Dhruva Maharaj that the death of the material body of his brother was not actually the Yaksha's fault. It was an act of the material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has immense varieties of potencies and they act in different gross and subtle ways. It is by such powerful potencies that the universe is created, although grossly it appears to be no more than the five elements earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Similarly, the bodies of all species of living entities, whether human beings, demigods, animals, or birds, are also created by the same five elements, and by sexual union they expand in more and more living entities. That is the way of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. One should not be disturbed by the waves of material nature in this process. Dhruva Maharaj was indirectly advised not to be afflicted by the death of his brother because our relationship with the body is completely material. The real self, spirit soul, is never annihilated or killed by anyone. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessing from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself and please forgive me for any shortcomings. I've taken notes from lectures by His Holiness Rumapat Swami Maharaj and His Grace Madhu Pandit Das. In the previous verses, we saw that Dhruva Maharaj is very upset on Yakshas And in his anger, he was killing all the yakshas, even those who were not offenders. So his grandfather Swayambhuva Manu has come to advise Dhruva Maharaj to give up krodha, anger, and remember Lord Vishnu. He is giving various reasons to stop killing of yakshas. It is part of duty for Kshatriyas to be very strong in required circumstance, and that may be in exhibition of anger. But excessive anger is sinful for a king or anyone. In a situation which triggers anger, one should consider what was that thought which propelled me to feel angry? Is that thought me centered or is it in harmony with Dharma? Sometimes having a strong feeling of anger is appropriate. For example, Hanumanji. He exhibited transcendental anger by going to Lanka, and what all he did there. It was to vindicate Mata Sita and to send fear into Ravana and his followers. So the transcendental anger is only for the purpose of the Supreme Lord. Dhruv Maharaj is reminded that you are a devotee of Vishnu, so you should act in a way that is respectful and representative of him. Your destiny is going to be Vaikuntha, so please act accordingly. It's a nice and gentle chastisement. The word Jiva Nirmukta means freed from the subtle body, which is beyond Brahman Nirvana. Nirvana is the stage of cessation of material existence, but beyond that is being described here. The words Prakriter Gune Vimukto means not only is he freed from the gunas of Prakriti, but especially liberated beyond merging in Brahman. This tells us that the path of bhakti not only is meant for exhibiting good quality, but also to take us to the transcendental position above the modes of nature. Krishna's Swarup is Satchit Anand, and the living entities, being part and parcel of Krishna, it's the nature of Jiva to seek for Anand, happiness. A devotee wants to satisfy Krishna, who can be satisfied only by offering loving devotional service. And as soon as we engage ourselves in satisfying Krishna, immediately we become satisfied. Real pleasure of soul is seva rasa. In material world, success is defined by money, power, knowledge, etc. Whereas in spiritual world, every living entity is chasing after seva rasa. How can I serve Krishna more and more in varieties of ways and situations? That is spiritual world. We must learn from spiritual master how to satisfy Sri Hari, how to use this body in satisfaction of Krishna. Until our bodily ego is overcome, it's hard to understand our true relationship with the Supreme. Once we become a devotee, the bodily concepts are redefined. Then the true value of this human body is realized, that I have relationship with the Supreme Lord. I am just the user of this body to get liberated from this material existence and reconnect with the Supreme. By sadhana bhakti, we can cleanse our chitta, our material consciousness. When our material consciousness is purified, then our gross and subtle body is left behind, and the jiva, with Shuddha Chitta, goes to the spiritual world and is awarded an eternal spiritual body, Divya Deha. In the next verse, Swayambhuva Manu explains the reality of this material world, how it is functioning in the form of material nature, how this material body is created. Women and men arise from the bodies made of 5 elements. These male and female forms, they have birth and death, but before they die, they produce more male and female bodies. and therefore the population in the material world sustains. He is giving Dhruv Maharaj higher perspective that everything is happening by the three modes of material nature, and no living entity is a direct cause in the material world. Dhruv Maharaj is indirectly advised not to be afflicted by his brother's death because bodily relationships are material. Our original existential bearing is that I am the pure eternal servitor of Krishna. Only by association with Krishna, who is pure Satchidanand, can our pure identity be awakened. The whole sadhana bhakti is meant to support this awakening. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the way that all the Satchidanand Shakti of Lord is infused into the sound that we chant, and it becomes Nam Avatar. By chanting, we worship, and by hearing, we take association. Once we are connected to Krishna, it will satisfy our soul, and we become free from entanglement of male or femaleness in this world. When we start identifying ourselves as the servant of Krishna, then our relationship with Krishna begins and the process of purification begins. So, entire exercise is to come out of this material energy and become one in quality with God. We do not have to try for good qualities, we just have to try for bhakti. And when bhakti comes, Krishna will decorate us with good qualities. We have no time for sense gratification. We have no time for mental speculations because we have to be busy enjoying seva for Krishna and be full in our spiritual enjoyment serving Krishna. There is a sweet rasa in pleasing and satisfying the Supreme Lord. Once we have that seva rasa in life, we don't need Gnan or anything else. The real spirit will blossom. The goal of sadhaka is how to purify my seva with this conditioned mind and body. This sadhana bhakti is very powerful, and among it, the most effective is chanting and hearing of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Krishna's name is non-different than Krishna. And while chanting on each bead, we are trying to please Krishna in Nama form. Pleasing Krishna is the greatest satisfaction of soul. I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother.